Oh dear. So yeah, by now just about everyone should have seen the announced changes for the 10 and 25 man rating game in the expansion. And I'll admit, when I first saw it, I kind of freaked out a little bit. I was like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. That's going to ruin everything. Oh my god. But then, being the calm and analytical person that I am, I stepped back a bit and said, okay, let's take a look at this. Let's see where they're going to go with this. So that's what I want to do today, is just kind of go through it and try to get an idea of what they're trying to do, what they're likely to do to accomplish that, and whether or not it's something that can actually be accomplished. So, first step, let's look at the changes that are actually going in. There's 4 major changes that I would like to mention so far, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Number 1, 25 mans and 10 mans are sharing a raid lockout. That everybody knows that. That's been getting a lot of discussion. Number 2, also been getting a lot of discussion, is that the 10-man instance will be dropping the same item level of loot as the 25-man instance. It's the exact same gear in 10 or 25. Number 3, this is one that's been getting a little bit less of discussion, but is very, very important. The 10-man instances are going to be tuned to be harder than they currently are. In fact, they're going to be tuned to be just as hard as the 25-man. So it's not like it is now, where the 10-man instance is something that you can just kind of grab a handful of 25-man raiders, and just go plow through. It's going to be something that's actually difficult and requires you to progress through. Theoretically, that's the goal. And number 4, the 25-man instance, this is one that people have just been completely ignoring. The 25-man instance will be dropping more loot per player, that's important, per player, than in the 10-man instance. A lot of people have seen that it will drop more loot and just gone, well, it doesn't matter because the 10-man loot, there's less people there. It does, though. It's a exponentially higher amount. Let's use a hypothetical example here. Say you love French fries. There's just nothing in the world that is anywhere nearly, just nothing is even close to being as important to you as French fries. It's your favorite thing ever. You just absolutely love French fries. First of all, well, you need to get your priorities straight, dude. That's a little weird. But moving on from that, say you go into Burger King and you order a medium French fry, and you're like, yes, I need a medium French fry. I love French fries. It's the most important thing to me ever. Please give me a medium French fry. And the guy says, okay, here, medium French fry. And he says, we have a special that's going on for now. If 5 people come in and order a medium French fry, they all get a large size French fry. So you think to yourself, and there's 2 ways you can go with it from there. Number 1, if you just don't feel like finding 4 other people, or you actually don't have 4 friends, which, I'm sorry, but it can happen. But for whatever reason, if it's just not really an option for you to bring in 4 other people, then you're just like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll just spend the extra 20 cents or whatever it is and get the large size if I really want the large size. Or number 2, you can think to yourself, me and the I love French fries more than anything club would love to come in here and bring all 5 of us and just get these large French fries for basically free. So that's the goal, more or less, with the looping back to actual stuff that matters. That's the goal, more or less, with having more drops in 25-man than in 10-man. The idea being that if you go through the extra hassle and you have the extra people available to actually run the 25-man instance, as a group you are actually rewarded higher than you would be by splitting into 2.5 10-mans, basically. Put another way, 2 25-man raids, so 50 people, will see more items drop than 5 10-man raids. So hopefully I have explained that as clearly as I can, because that's one change that's been getting kind of thrown under the rug a whole lot and pretty much ignored. So now that we know what they're doing, we can try to figure out exactly what they're trying to accomplish from that. So first of all, we know they're trying to make 10-mans more attractive. They're trying to make them more attractive to the hardcore raider specifically. That's pretty obvious. They're making them more challenging to actually kill the bosses in there, and they're making them more rewarding, so it doesn't feel like, well, I did this 10-man, and even if it was really hard for me, then I just kind of got the consolation prize of loot. Second of all, they're trying to make it so that 25-mans don't feel, or 25-man guilds don't feel like they have to go and then do the 10-mans also, which was a pretty big problem in Ice Crown specifically, because the way the 10-mans, or the way that Tier 10 worked, with it costing frost badges, it was just so important that you went into the 10-man and got those extra badges as well for your progression in the 25-man, that 99% of 25-man raiders were also running the 10-man for quite a while, and a lot of them still are. Just trying to, keep getting whatever little extra stuff they can with those badges. So, those are both pretty noble goals, I think. Now, the question after that is, can they accomplish that with these changes? And more specifically, how can they accomplish that with these changes? So we look at it and we go, okay, well, the challenges that they're going to face as developers in order to actually make this work is, first of all, they need to not kill 25-man rating. And I don't care how cynical you are about Blizzard as a company, they're not trying to kill 25-man rating. That would be ridiculous. Again, no matter how cynical you are of Blizzard as a company, they enjoy your $15 a month. So they're not going to do something specifically designed to piss you off so that you're not giving them that money anymore. So let's push that out of the question. They're not trying to kill 25-man rating. So obviously they need to not actually do that with this change, which is important. Second of all, they need to find a way to not kill 10-man rating in the process. This is one that I'm actually kind of concerned about, and we'll see how it ends up going. Right now, 10-man rating is mostly for, the casual guilds, the people that don't really want to do 25s or can't get the people together for 25s, which still falls under that, but also the people that don't really want to spend, 4 nights a week in there actually raiding. So the concern there is, if they make the 10-mans more challenging, are those people still actually going to be able to do some sort of raiding, or are they going to be pretty much just restricted to 5-mans at that point? So my thought there as to how they'll accomplish that. They did mention a while ago that they didn't like the way that Icecrown worked out, where the heroic modes weren't available immediately. So I think we're quite likely to end up seeing the new content, the new raid content in Cataclysm, have the heroic mode available right away with the better available drops and everything, and have the normal mode still be the kind of easy mode, like just you can take a handful of people and go clear 25-man Icecrown in one night if you really, really wanted to, provided they're at least, mostly familiar with the fight. Maybe not Lich King, maybe not Syndragosa, maybe not Putricide either, but most of it anyway, you can get through and actually just, you can get through everything without too much of a hassle. So I think we'll see things working out that way, so that there's normal modes, there's hard modes, there's 10-man, there's 25, and which category you fall into depends on the size of your group, and how much you actually want to, how hardcore you actually want to be about the rating. Now the next challenge is going to be not killing 25-man rating, like I said. And I think the key thing that's going to factor in there is the loot differential, the fact that you're actually getting more loot per person in the 25-man, or French fries per person, however you want to put it, in the 25-man for actually bringing those 15 extra people. The question that comes to mind then is, well, then why run the 10-man if you're getting more loot in 25-man? Or more specifically, where can they find the sweet spot, or where is the sweet spot where the 25-man raid is good for the extra loot, but the 10-man raid is still good if you don't want to go and find those 15 other people? How do you find that balance between the two? And finding that balance, I think, is going to be the key on whether or not they can make it work or not. Imagine they manage to get everything just perfect so that you end up in this sort of situation. Say you've got 10 people, and you like your 10 people, and maybe you wish you could be getting a little bit more loot every week, but you're not really worried about going out and finding 15 more people so that you can actually make that happen. So you're like, okay, well, maybe I'd like to get that little more loot, but this 10 people is fine. I'm just going to go with this because this is who I've got, this is who I like playing with. Or maybe, you've got a 25-man guild, and you're like, man, it is a lot of extra work to actually be able to manage all of this, but you know what, we're getting extra loot, so that's cool, and it's still going to be difficult if I go down to the 10-man, so I think we'll stick with the 25s. Or maybe even, we've got 25 people, let's raid, or we've got 10 people, let's raid, it doesn't have to be a specific case of which is the most effective sort of situation. It can easily come down to just a matter of, pretty much, your guild's preference. Would you rather just do 10-mans, or would you rather do 25-mans? The interesting thing there that I want to touch on is I've had people come up to me and say, well, why would I ever run the 25-man? I much prefer running the 10-man. It's just so much more relaxed when there's only 10 people there. And to them I say, well, then this is a good change for you. You can just run the 10-man. Isn't that fantastic? And they usually just kind of go, oh, like, I think the biggest challenge for this change is going to be convincing people that they don't have to run 25-mans. It's convincing people that 25 isn't the prestige raid size to be in. It's not necessarily the best. And you can take that either way, whether or not 25 needs to be the best or not. I don't think it needs to. I think 10-mans, as long as they manage to tune them so they are actually still difficult, to the same amount of difficulty to where you can't just take 25, or you can't just take 10 25-man raiders and go in there and plow through it because they're all so much better at the game. I think if they can manage to keep that distinction in there to where it's still pretty similar in terms of difficulty, then it doesn't matter so much if you're raiding with 10 people or 25 people. It just matters, do you have 10 or 25 people at that point? So, thank you very much once again for watching. I will be back here again next week, hopefully on time this week, with another weekly Marmot. So, see you later.